We're on live. Hello, everybody on Substack. Thank you so much for joining the Warden's Archive today. Awesome. I see some of you popping in here already. That's amazing. Thank you guys for coming. I'm running on steam. I didn't sleep well last night. I have no idea why. So I got me a little Dutch Brothers. So hopefully you'll see my energy tank start to increase throughout the show. I'm excited today. It seems like I guess the Warden's Archive is the place for new writers to come on and do their first live stream, because I have another newbie today, Megan. Oh, see, I practiced her last name. Wait. I got it. It's Megan Kirkendall. Yep. Megan Kirkendall. And I'm glad her and I got connected because she writes kind of modern day mythology. So our title of the show today, what we're going to be talking about, is what if mythology never ended? So it's writing fantasy romance in the modern world. And I like this, what if mythology never ended, because she's writing a story right now. I believe this is right, about Aphrodite running a company called Love Inc.
Yeah, that's the first book. I'm working on book 3 right now for that one.
Oh, okay. Well, good, because we're going to be hopping into at least that part of it. Hold on, let me get my notes here. I desperately need notes today. Right, and every myth was at some point, when the myth was taking place, it was a modern world at that time. So what's cool is, like, see, Zeus wasn't ancient to the Greeks, he was current events. But what happens if it never stopped? What happens if that myth was still playing out now? And we're going to have a lot of questions and sort of some fun little games that we can play too, where we're going to incorporate that, answering that question. So with that, a couple rules. You guys know, no bras. Take your bras off. If you're watching the Warden's Archive live stream and you are female, you must let the titties free, because then you can take it all in, right? So, and then you guys know the rule is there's no licking the cursed artifacts in the archive. And now we have a new rule that there's also no licking of the wardens, because you guys just can't behave yourself. You can't keep your tongues to yourselves. There's no licking the wardens. I'm sorry, but they're very lickable. I get it. I totally get it. Okay, anyway, joke aside, welcome. I'm so glad you guys are here. Welcome, Megan. I'm glad to be your first live stream.
Thank
and I'm
you.
going to try my best. I've had the worst night of sleep, and it's just killing me. I don't know about you, but when you can't get sleep, it's kind of torture, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I want to introduce you. I want you to just tell everybody who you are and what you write, and also why you started a Substack and what hooked you into myths in the first place.
Okay. I decided to do Substack because it was something new and it kept popping up on my feeds and everything, and it looked interesting. And I read a couple articles here and there, and another author friend of mine, he had started. And I just wanted to see if maybe it was something that I could get into. As for the myths and everything, actually, my grandfather got me into everything. He used to teach me about the stars in the sky and the stories behind them. And, I read the Iliad and the Odyssey when I was still in elementary school. So,
Nice.
So it's one of those things where I basically grew up with myth and lore from all over the place. So, we would go up to, I live in Georgia, so we would go up to the Cherokee Indian nation, and we would sit there and listen to some of the myths from the Indians and, that kind of stuff. So as for what I write, it's kind of a young adult romance, but it's more story immersed than anything. The romance is there because, it happens in everyday life, but it's very story driven. So, and I've got 5 different series going. They kind of interact with each other a little bit. So they're kind of like, Spider-Man and Captain America, you see them cross over every once in a while. So
And so, do you have published stories now, or are you just serializing your fiction?
No, I've actually got 12 books out.
Wow.
So
That's nice.
I'm working on three more right now. I'm working on them all three at the same time because they're kind of in the same time zone, and so
Okay.
I gotta kind of keep them, the chapters kind of looking close together because they kind of, mix and match a little bit. A
Okay.
couple of
Okay. Nice.
characters are crossing over.
I gotcha. Megan, are you an indie author or traditional?
I am an indie author. I
Okay.
looked
And
into traditional, but I thought that indie was more my way of going because I like to have a lot of control on my books and stuff. So,
oh, girl, you preaching to yeah, you're speaking my language right there. Is your pen name Megan Kirkendall?
yes,
Okay, I'm looking her up right now, you guys, because I wanted to drop in some of her links here on Amazon. So you did a Cupid Christmas, that's you?
I did. That's one of my favorites, actually.
Ah, it came up right on the top here. So I'm just gonna drop a link in. Always, you guys, when I find out that I'm interviewing an author who has a book, I'm gonna be dropping in the link for you guys to check out. There's the Kindle version here, which I believe would probably it's KU, Kindle Unlimited.
Yep,
Is that
all of my
right?
books are in Kindle Unlimited right now. So
Oh, beautiful. What do you think of the Kindle Unlimited?
it's a great way for people to be able to just read what they want and kind of take a look at one and another and then decide when or if they're going to continue reading it. So it's a great way to go out and find new authors to check out.
Good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so if any of you guys have KU, that's perfect. And then you have the Gathering as well.
I do.
I
That's actually a
okay.
fantasy series. There's three of them there. It starts
Okay.
with the Amber Chronicles, and then it goes on from there. So,
Look at you. Oh yeah, here's the Amber Chronicles. Okay, let me copy
mhm.
that. So how long have you been writing?
um, I've been writing little stories since I was probably in elementary school. I started the Argonne series with the Amber Chronicles and everything when I was in high school. Needless to say, it took a very long time to get there. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, so that's sort of my um, just a high school kid getting everything out and everything. But I redid the whole thing, so it's much more adult. So yeah,
Okay. Okay. You say most of your stuff leans towards YA, but not necessarily. Some of
yeah.
it's okay.
Most of it, I would let my kid because when I started writing, my kids were little, and so or when I started writing seriously, my kids were little, and so I wanted them to be able to read what I was writing when they were in middle school and high school. But I also had friends where I worked that they had a very low reading level, and so I wanted adults to actually enjoy the stuff too. So it's kind of one of those. It's kind of like a Disney movie. The kids enjoy it, but there's enough Easter eggs in it for the adults to enjoy it too. And
Okay.
everything.
No, I like that. I love
So
that. That's really cool that you were thinking of your community when you were writing your book. So your Aphrodite is the CEO of Love Incorporated. And I
yes.
guess you have Eros who carries a handgun. Is that right?
Yeah, the story is actually about Eros. Aphrodite is his mom, and she's in Love Inc. and she's a little nutsy right now because
Okay.
she's been around for so long, and the gods tend to go a little crazy every once in a while. But with Eros, he was sitting there, and it's close to Christmas, and so Santa Claus decides to call him up, and Kris Kringle's on the phone with him and says, "Hey, I'm running behind. Can I get you to pick up some of the slack for me? I'll pay you." And so Eros gets a list of people that he has to have fall in love before Christmas Eve.
Oh.
And so one of the people on the list, he actually shoots at because he no longer carries a bow. Um, I'm not sure what that is. He no longer carries a bow, he carries a Glock. So,
Oh,
so
good
he
choice.
shoots kind of like dart bullet style things, and different bullets do different things. So,
Okay. Okay, good to know. I just hopping on my Discord here, let everybody know we're live. Uh so tell us a little bit more about that story though. Keep riffing on
Okay.
that.
Oh, give me just 2 seconds. I think my daughter's actually trying to call me, and I'm just going to let her know real quick that I'm uh,
Oh no, go ahead.
doing
It's
this.
really
I am so
important.
sorry. My
No worries.
youngest daughter knew, but my oldest daughter didn't, I don't think.
That's fine. I get it. You gotta stay in communication with your children and just say, letting my Discord group know we're on live right now. So who's all here right now in the chat? Pop in and say hi if you're here, what the weather's like where you're at. If you have any questions about mythology, I love the love Glock. Ah, I love that.
But yeah, so but yeah, with the story, it's he's going through and he has like one gentleman, he's a divorcee and he's got a child, and so he finds somebody that's going to be compatible with the divorcee, and he happens to find another woman that has a child herself, and so he gets the kids, and the kids become like bestest best friends, and they're like 8, and then the parents get hit with the little darts and everything, and they fall in love too, so it's kind of that way. So it has a few different little love stories from different styles of love and everything. So
Nice. So okay, so he as he's going along, getting people to fall in love, then you're kind of telling the story about those two people falling in love.
right,
Oh,
and
that's
so
really nice. I love that. I
so
love
it's
that.
kind of stories within stories a little bit on that one.
And this
But
is and what's the name of this book?
that one is A Cupid's Christmas.
Okay. All right,
And
I'm
so
buying this because I love it already. I love it already. Uh, so was there a myth that surprised you once you dug into the original source?
Actually, the Cupid myth actually surprised me because everybody was like, okay, you have Hades, or you have Ares, and you have Aphrodite, and you have love and war, falling in love, and they have Eros. Well, it turns out that that's not actually the case. If you dig deeper and into the more ancient myths and everything, he was actually one of the chaos gods that was created before the earth was even created.
Interesting.
So he was one of the darker gods, and then something happened to him, and he ended up being the Cupid that we or the Eros that we know now. So in my books later on in that series, he goes a little dark. So
Okay. Well, because I guess in his arc, in his story, he started off dark. He started off,
mhm.
a darker god, a chaos god, even before Earth, and then maybe something critical happened to him, and suddenly now
Yeah.
he's about getting people to fall in love.
So yeah, and so in book 3, he's actually going to find out that he's not exactly everything that he thought he was, because he doesn't remember any of that. So
Oh, oh, okay. This is really interesting. This is great. Okay, I'm feeling good now. This is great. All right, so next question. What does the modern setting give you that a historical secondary world would not? So let's say stakes feeling closer, gods having an Instagram, that kind of thing.
actually, yeah, I've got Jack Frost playing with all the kids and throwing snowballs and that kind of stuff. But it gives me a chance to kind of take people that don't know about the magic and the myth and everything, and shock them with the new world. It's kind of like, oh, magic is real, type thing. Um, and so, you get to find out little bits and pieces, but at the same time, some of the gods and stuff hadn't been around for a while because they left to heal in a different realm. And then they came back, and now there's TVs and there's cars, and
Right. It's
so some of them
funny.
were a little surprised.
I do have some writing that crosses over into this, and I'll be scheduling it probably towards the end of August. So I definitely you'll have to check it out. But I wrote a short story called Gods in a Conference Room, and it's sort of a parody about the masculine and feminine. sort of the difference between the two. And then I wrote a series called Jesus Got a TikTok. And it was great. I did just enough research really to like get the personalities right. And I think you'll absolutely love it. Both of it is kind of my maybe more lighthearted parody. But it definitely crosses over into what we're talking about. So it's perfect. So I love that. What's the hardest part? Where does the modern world fight the myth? Like you were saying, and they come back and there's cars, so like phones ruining the mystery or GPS ruining the quest. Where do you find those hangups the most?
Actually, it's kind of it's the disbelief of the humans more than anything else. So in my Fae world, I have Michael, who is a teacher at a college, and he teaches, surprise, surprise, Irish myth because he's a Fae. So he's looking at, like I said, they all cross over a little bit. He's looking for people that would accept the magic and be ready to help fight the darkness that's coming and everything. And so, like in the first one, he sends fairies out to kind of check out all of his students. And the students are all like, oh, how are you doing this? Oh, this has got to be, like some sort of little laser something or, whatever. And one of the fairies yanks one of the kids' hair.
That's interesting. Yeah, this is all of a sudden I'm getting questions that aren't even on my list, and we're getting questions in the chat too, which I really like. Joshua asked, "How is your Fae organized in your world?"
As far as, I mean, they're kind of, because the Fae had been in mythology, the Fae had been defeated by the Fomorians, and the Fomorians throughout all of my series. They're the darkness that's coming. And so way back when, while they were in Ireland, they were defeated and the Fae went underground. They went to another realm that's outside of the middle realm. And so these Fae are actually kind of soldiers, and they come and they're trying to protect the human world without the humans actually really knowing that they're there. So it's kind of like little groupings of like groups of 4 to 6 Fae at a time. So,
oh, nice. I like that. That makes sense. And my mom just popped on. Hi, Mom. I always say hi, Mom. It's not actually a cliche. She's actually here. I'm saying hi to her. My mom never really read much of fantasy, and she's reading mine. She really likes it. So I believe my fantasy is a good gateway fantasy to people who don't usually read it, because it's not so much swords and wars and
right. It's more everyday,
personal, like more relationship and becoming and romance. Yeah. She gave you a thumbs up. So my question too, as you were talking, I'm getting interested in knowing you as a person. Like, do you feel really connected to your characters? Do you feel like a lot of them are like communicating through you, like, and letting their story kind of unfold through your pen, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to a lot of different authors, and almost everyone that I've talked to, we're all like, we're kind of like the police officer that's just writing down, what happened. we're doing our incident report type thing. This is how it happened, type thing. But sometimes they get really talkative, and I can't keep up with how fast everything is going. And sometimes they're like, "Well, you just need to look up some more stuff before we get any further." It's interesting because it's almost like they talk to you a little bit.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm pretty new to fiction writing, and when I discovered this, I would say it would be this year, where I created these characters, I started creating a story, and then suddenly they
have
started
no control.
Yeah, suddenly I'm like, wait a minute, did I really? I feel like I created like a real world somewhere with real characters, and
that's it.
And things are happening, and they're kind of like telling me now, okay, this is this is what's going on. And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
whoa.
There's been plenty of times that I'm sitting there and I'm writing and writing, and then I get to the end and I'm like, wow, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Wow, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really fun, especially when you're talking about mythical gods. It just, yeah, again, it just makes what we do feel very real, very immersive, and
Yes.
very real. So let's go talk about the romance angle for a moment, because
Okay.
that's my favorite subject. Why do gods and monsters make such good love interests? It's like power imbalance, immortality versus immortal lifespan. Not everything that goes bump in the night is evil. I think there's a tagline here I wanted to quote. I think when you shared universe with character crossovers,
Mm-hmm.
curious how you tracked that as well. Um, okay, sorry, my notes are a little sloppy.
That's okay.
The Formorians in the U.S. Southeast.
Mm-hmm.
How did you? Okay, so now we're going into. Okay, where's
Well,
the quote? Yeah, so I'm sorry about that, you guys. Let's go back
that's
to
okay.
that question, really, of like, why do you think gods and monsters make such good love interests?
Well, part of it is they're outside of the normal. I mean, you don't have immortals and monsters like the lore style monsters. There's monsters everywhere. They're just real. But they're usually human too, and that's one of the things that I kind of put in my stories is the bad guys aren't always the monsters. A lot of times the bad guys are the humans because we never see it coming, but because we want the bad guys to be the monsters and not the humans. But with the love interest, it's more, they've been around, been here, done that. They have a better idea of what a relationship should be most of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
But it just, I mean, it
So
just
like your
depends.
tagline, that was the tagline. Not everything that goes bump in the night is evil.
Hmm.
That was it. That's where I got that question. Um, yeah. So yeah, you're right. Like but like looking at it from a perspective of a god, like a god who's just infallible and can kind of have anything and create anything, what would be their interest? Why would they be interested in someone who's mortal when they're immortal? What
Well,
would be the draw?
that's one of the things I love about myth and lore and everything, especially the ancient myth and lore. They're not infallible and they're not perfect, and a lot of times they have their own limitations. So like with Eros, seeing love through a mortal's eyes and seeing them fall in love for the first time, or finding their first true best friend, or something like that. It's new, and they get to experience it through somebody else's eyes instead of their own that's been just living it over and over and over and over again.
Mm.
So
That to me really feels like the experience of God, that like God in a way is creating all these different individuals, different people who are all simultaneously experiencing life in a completely different their own unique way, and God gets to like experience human experience through each of us. It's very interesting because yeah, I love that. Good. Okay, guess now we can go into trading notes. You have 5 interlocking series. Yeah, we want to talk about your interlocking series because I'm doing the same thing with Ethara. My world's name is Ethara, and I've got several stories that I put out here, which coincidentally, I only wrote stories to be kind of a short little sample of how I write and quick little romances, and then the characters had other
they
plans.
grow.
And
Yeah.
so did the readers. The readers were reading it and they're like, no, this can't stop here. Like, we need to know what happens to Ren and Zara. We need to know what happens to Lorian
Mm-hmm.
and
And sometimes you need to know what
Erica.
happens to them.
Yeah. And so all week long I've been working on part 2 of the classifier.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I wasn't planning on doing that's now going to end up being a full novel. And all of that, I call them like the little chapels to my big series, my cathedral series, which is the Warden series. And then I also have the harmonic record. The harmonic record is fun too, because in my world, the magic system is based in resonance and frequency and energy. I feel like it mirrors our world in a way, except that we might have energy manipulated and changed. And what if it was just pure? What if it was like when you were talking about the Native Americans, and we just lived on the earth and we could sing and we could communicate with the world in a way that was not interrupted? And Ethar really reflects that in harmonic record, where individuals have different songs for different purposes, and sometimes they're illegal and sometimes they're hidden, and these songs are very powerful. They're capable of doing many things, and I put one out usually once a month, and again, they're all kind of interlocked to my main story. And I love this as a reader as well. Like when I'm picking up books and series, it's very rewarding to read books and then get to the big series and like, oh yeah, be able to connect things and pick up those Easter eggs, and it's very rewarding. So tell me about how you're doing that.
Well, it can be a little confusing at times when you're writing it, but it's basically I have the 5 series. I have a leprechaun that series. He was trapped and he gives out luck to kind of do things. And then I've got my shifter stories, and it was kind of a Beauty and the Beast challenge type thing when I started writing it. It was, how can you make Beauty and the Beast, but the Beast is, never considered the bad guy. He's always the good guy from the start.
He's the green flag, and he stays the Beast, right?
And he does. He's a wolf shifter, so that's my solstice. Good. Yeah. And so
how many of you guys were disappointed when the Beast shifted to a human and you were like, oh man.
Yeah, I liked him better as the Beast.
Cute.
But and so he was trapped because he was imprisoning a siren, and they'd used him as the anchor to keep her imprisoned in a cavern because she was too strong to beat yet. So, then we got other things, but the main way that I get them to cross over is like my shifters are all part of like a police agency for supernaturals. And the humans, there's a sect of humans that are actually hunting supernaturals and killing them, and they're kind of trying to keep that from happening type thing. And so sometimes they'll cross over into one of my Fae stories, because one of my Faes has worked with the group organization before, and that kind of thing. So
this is so right up my alley. So you got to tell me about your shifters. How many different shifters do you have, and what do they shift into?
They shift into all sorts of things. I have wolf shifters. I've got this cute little Irish fox shifter that he's just bouncing all over the place. He's kind of like a courier. He leads other shifters to safe houses and stuff like that if they've been endangered. I've got a phoenix shifter who didn't know she was a phoenix shifter, because they don't get to shift until they've been killed for the first time, because they're immortal. And then, there's all sorts of, I've got one that's a snake. So, I mean, if it looks like it's something that character would probably be, then that's probably the shifter that they'll end up, they have the personality for it, type thing. So
nice. Yes. My main protagonist in my main story, the Warden's Blood Vow, is a shifter becoming. So she doesn't know it yet, but then when she finds out, she's basically a flying unicorn. I call it alicorn. In my book, we call it unicorn. It's alata, which is Latin for winged unicorn. which is really interesting. I'm excited to take this into adult fantasy because I was a big fan of The Last Unicorn, and I really felt like it was The Last Unicorn. Fantasy went all in with dragons, vampires, and werewolves, but like forgot the unicorn.
But they forgot the unicorns.
Yeah, the unicorn was there for like a blood sacrifice or someone's mount, or it was never like the main character. And so I'm a big fan of shifters because that's really where there's so much to explore and write about in the fantasy world when it comes to shifters. And I feel like it's like the one thing of all fantasy that that I resonate with the highest. Like if there was one thing I could pick, it wouldn't be a vampire or a werewolf, but the shifter is like the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing, especially when you add in myth and mythological creatures. So anyway, and then I was going to ask you about some as far as the US Southeast, how do you pick where your myths land, geographically?
With like my Fae, I wanted them someplace kind of central, so they're closer to like the Kennesaw area, where they're close to the city, but they're far enough out to where they can still feel the earth resonate, type thing.
Yeah.
And then with my shifters, they're actually up in North Georgia, a little bit into the mountains, because there's a cave up there, and that's where they've imprisoned the siren. That's her big thing, was she was a serial killer, and she would go after witches, and she had been doing it for hundreds of years, and they finally caught up to her, and because she was killing the witches, she got their power. So each time she killed, she got more powerful. So the only way that they could stop her was to trap her, and so that's how he ended up there. And he had to stay within a 75-mile radius of the thing, so he couldn't even go into town.
Wow. Wow. I love how all fantasy is always usually including witches. I feel like maybe that's lacking in my stories. And what's really funny is witch is a word that I think we kind of grow up feeling it's some kind of evil thing. And when you this is another conversation for like other podcasts that I've done, when we talk about feminine energy and just like how magical women are. We are like witches in a way, like making cures out of herbs, and with childbirth and pregnancy, and there's just so much that women do. In fact, historically, some of the women who lived in the forest back when there was like original witch hunts, they wanted to keep things clean, so they did get cats to kill the rats, and they used to sweep their places out every day to eliminate disease. And then that's where we got witches with black cats and brooms. Came actually came from history, and they were just intelligent women, really. So I just love that having witches in fantasy is it's beautiful. So anyway, I got some more questions here. Original myths, or it looks like I made a note in here to research original myths or modern retellings, and I don't think I did that. But let's talk about one myth that's overdone, one that is criminally let's talk about that. What do you think? What myths do you think are overdone, overplayed?
That's a hard one to, because I grew up with all of them. So, it's kind of hard to, I think the Cupid aspect has kind of been overplayed a little bit. Eros and Cupid are the same god. Eros is Greek, and Cupid is Roman. So they had basically renamed him. But it seemed like modern society has kind of taken Cupid and just kind of, strangled him. With all the different ways that you see him in his diaper with his little bow and
cherub.
And Eros was never a that way. He was a full-grown man that was one of the most beautiful creatures that had walked the earth, and
Oh wow,
that type of thing. So
have you seen the show Supernatural?
I have.
And that
Yeah.
their take on Cupid was so sad. Like they were the lower level angels. Like they had the hierarchy angels, and then the cherub was like this kind of dorky, nerdy, diapered, chubby. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. That's pretty criminal, right there.
But and
hey Nadine, thanks for joining. If any of you guys feel like there's a myth that's overdone, I want you to just drop it in the comments so we can talk about it. Because like nothing's really coming to me or Megan. And then before we ask more questions, I want you guys to subscribe to Megan, please. Like how long have you been on Substack?
I actually haven't been on here long. I've only been on here for about 2 weeks. So I do have some short stories on there, and the paid subscription that I've got on there is I'm doing I'm starting the first book for my dragon series that's going in with everything else, and introducing my dragon stuff, and that one's a little more spicy. That one is definitely not young adult.
Oh, spicy! Talk about language.
That one is actually being done piece by piece on here, and I'm getting input from everybody to see how they like it and everything. And at the end, I'll give a free copy of the ebook to everybody that's subscribed, that's a paid subscriber for the book, and then I'll do a discount with swag and everything for the actual book.
When's your book coming out?
That one I'm hoping to have out no later than January.
Okay, guess what I'm doing right now? I'm becoming one of your paid subscribers right now as we speak, because I
have the first 3 parts up right now. So
and you know what? Being that I now have 5 free subscriptions that I can give away. So if any of you guys want that, I want your dragon. I want to know all about your Dragon Spice books. Like instantly, like all of my little attention hairs are like standing up and pointing right towards you. Like, tell me more.
That one, I've actually got at least 3 books planned for the series. And so, it started with a little short story that someone wanted me to do because I was never into spice or, to me, that's the hardest thing to write is like the sex scenes or the spice or something like that. So, and so they challenged me to do this. And so I kind of wrote it all in, and they're like, oh, this is great. You should do something more with it because it's not long enough. They're like, we need to know more.
Yeah.
And I've kind of taken that little short story, and now I'm going to expand it into a larger story. So.
Oh, great. Oh, hey, and Brittany joined us. She's a spicy romance author too, and she got me into it. I'm writing more spicy scenes now, and I love it. As far as stuff that's overplayed, we have some commenters who mentioned Zeus, Persephone. Gets overdone a lot. We also have like the male god sex abuse, female god vengeance on men who get sexually being overdone. Yeah, I can see that. Again, Hades, Persephone. Yeah, thanks you guys for commenting on that. That's great.
I never liked the fact that they always take Persephone and just kind of put her in the background behind Hades. Yeah, it's like Hades and her mom are fighting all the time, and she's just back there doing her little thing, picking flowers. Like she was a goddess of her own right. You people don't understand. Now she has extra powers.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing. Let's see. I had what was criminally maybe overtold, but what do you think? So we're talking about Persephone maybe being overshared in a different light. What do you think is underused in mythology? What do you think we could share more of in mythology, or explore more of, or write more of? Norse stuff, yes, that's good.
Absolutely. Norse stuff would be wonderful. I'm kind of playing with a little bit of Norse stuff as well, because one of the things that people don't quite think about when they think about the myths and lores of way back when is they kind of crossed over. You didn't have like giant walls between each of the areas. You had Greek mythology, but Greek mythology made its way all the way up into Europe, and into some of the other mythologies, and those came down as well. And you have different religions from all over the world that have just kind of crossed around. One of the things that I'm playing with is you have in the Appalachian Mountains, you have what they call the Moon-eyed people. And supposedly they were very pale people, bright blue eyes, almost white hair, type thing. Wow. It sounds almost like a Tolkien elf, which was based off of the Fae from Irish mythology. So I'm kind of playing with, that a little bit as well in my Fae series. So that's one of the reasons why they ended up in Georgia.
Wow. Oh, this is great. This is such a juicy conversation. And for me, the way I started off, just like dead to the world, and now you've got me just lit up with creativity. And I love what you guys are leaving in the comments. Stuff that's underplayed, and I agree with every single one that you guys are sharing. Egyptian, yes. Mm-hmm. There is so much beautiful myth that we could be tapping into on the Egyptian culture. A Native American, oh my God, Elf, you hit it. Like, Native American would be beautiful fantasy myth. I want to explore that now that you've mentioned it. Totems, I would say totems might be a crossover to Native American mythology. Asian mythology, thank you, Nadine. It's something we have to talk to Hai Dang about. I don't even know off the top of my head any Asian mythology except maybe Chinese dragons, which are absolutely make beautiful tattoos. Maybe that's probably we definitely need to know about that. Eastern European, Russian, Slavic folklore and mythology. Yeah, absolutely. Tall Smurfs. You're hilarious. Tall Smurfs. Well, so that leads me to my next question. Like, do you think modern readers need the original myth explained to them? Or do you think as a modern reader you can just you can trust the reader to understand?
I think that one of the things we did wrong with the education system is we took all the myth and the lore out of it. That should be taught right alongside of history, because when I was that was basically what I was learning in college and everything was myth, lore, history, and it all runs hand in hand, because you don't know what those people of that specific time necessarily were thinking, because they're not thinking the same way that we are nowadays. So what was moral back then may not be moral now, because you had Zeus, who was sleeping around with every mortal that he could get a hold of, and a few that said no. And then you had Hera, who
raise your hand if you would have slept with Zeus.
And then you had Hera, who didn't care that the girl was not happy with it. She, punished her instead of him. And so it was, nowadays you would have punished Zeus instead of the girl. So, it just depends on that. And that's one of the things that you have to think about when you're writing all of it, is what's the difference now versus what's the difference then?
Yeah.
And how does that God have to grow?
Yeah, and how do you address that as an author? Is that maybe something you touch on in a prologue, or like kind of getting some education out of the way ahead of time? Or
actually, I use Michael with that. One of the things that I do with the Fae book is he's teaching a class, and so I start with or not necessarily start, but somewhere near the beginning of the book, he goes to class and does a class, and sometimes he just has stuff up on the wall and he's pointing while he's doing his lecture. And then other times he'll use magic and he'll actually teleport them back in time. I'm actually doing Pandora's box right now as we speak. Wow. And so we get to meet Pandora before she gets all of her gifts. And she's very timid and she's very shy and, everything. And she doesn't know what's in store for her later down the road. So
wow. I love this, and it makes me think of like Princess Bride. Like Princess Bride, the story starts off with a grandfather sharing a story with his grandson who called in sick, or the Never Ending Story, where he's a little boy who loves books and he finds a bookstore and he ends up stealing a book that understand that as he's reading it, he's influencing the world that he's reading. And the way that we can set up, like through education or portals or like teachers or through hidden books, and we can introduce somebody to mythology and through fantasy that way, it's a beautiful way to write a story. It's a beautiful way to drop somebody into a world. And oops, my little vibrator foot thing just came on. It's like, sorry about that. Yeah, exactly. Princess Bride and Neverending Story is like, that was like a gateway drug for a lot of us. That was like kind of got us into it. The same with like
I don't know
Narnia.
how many times I've watched the Neverending Story.
I know. To this day I can watch it, and I'm it's so nostalgic. Like it reminds me of this, you know. Of course I'm always bawling like every time I'm watching that movie. It's
at least 2 or 3 times throughout the movie. All you gotta do is put up a picture of the horse in the mud, and everybody cries.
The labyrinth, the same thing. The labyrinth, like she's practicing a play, she knows some lines from a play, but it ends up like, you know, invoking legend. See, all of these gateway things, you guys, this is great. These are all ways that we can, as authors, teach people mythology or teach about without lore dumping, you know, like nobody wants to pick up a fantasy book and get a big world building
they don't want a lesson.
So it has to be, you have to either trust the reader's intelligence or be able to introduce it somehow. And these are some great examples. And I love the way that you're approaching this. So that's amazing. This is such a juicy, good, this is really great. Thank you so much, Megan. I am loving this. Oh, and I was so close to calling in sick. All right. So
glad you didn't.
Me too. I just had a rough night last night. I couldn't cool off. I had the AC cranked and it just felt so hot, and oh my God, I just kept waking up. It was awful. But here we are, and I'm halfway done with my DB, my crack in a cup. Drop a myth in the chat. Something that you'd want to see in the modern world. Oh yeah. Hey, you guys have been dropping a lot of stuff in here, but like, what kind of myth would you want to see in the modern world now? Maybe not necessarily what we're going to write, but like what would be cool. And then we can like riff on some of the answers. That'll be good. And of course, I want to go back to your Substack for a moment. Just if you guys have been here, even if you just came in late, Megan is incredible. You guys, she's incredible. Go follow her Substack right now. She has 27 subscribers. Most of you guys here, we all kind of started together and we've been helping each other grow. Let's help Megan grow. I would love for you guys to just snag her at here, paste it into your Discord, into your messages here for everybody who subscribes, and just let people know, hey, I got to meet Megan at the Warden's Archive. She's incredible. She writes myth. She has I did put some links in here, but I'm going to put in the links again. If you scroll up now, because once this publishes, those links go away, and I'll try to keep them. I'll try to put them in my Discord as well. Where's my Amazon? She's got some books out now, and I think the one that I'm going to buy right away is Cupid's Christmas. I'm going to drop it in here, you guys. This book sounds absolutely incredible. So I'm going to drop it in here. $10. And then she's got her Dragon series coming soon, and all kinds of goodies for any paid subscribers. Speaking of goodies for paid subscribers, I have about 6 to 10 of my paid subscribers from this last from June who are now receiving the Warden treasure boxes, which is a 12-ounce soy scented candle, scented like the archive, leather and cedar and vanilla and black tea, and a few other goodies that I dropped in there. So if any of you guys have gotten your boxes yet, just drop it in the comments. I'm still offering those. So if any of you guys want to become paid subscribers and you do an annual subscription, it's $50. And if you live in the continental United States, I'll ship you a box I don't charge you shipping or anything. They're all handmade. I make it all here. So there's some swag incentive to be a paid subscriber for the Warden's Archive, but it's $5 a month to join Megan's, and she's got some good swag coming for her dragon series. So for her dragon cereal. So just definitely so yeah, that's okay. I'm moving on here. It's hard for me to talk and read at the same time. I don't know how these talk show hosts people do it.
Hard to keep everything organized. I'm sitting here, I'm like, ooh, they're doing Gorgons. I've actually got one in my Cupid series on book 3.
On what? On what?
A Gorgon, like Medusa.
Oh yeah. Oh, Medusa.
She's actually like a great niece.
I love Medusa myth as well. Like, she's a badass.
Mm-hmm.
Love. Oh yeah, what was the original Clash of the Titans? I watched Clash of the Titans when I was a kid like 10,000 times too.
Yeah, and you look at it now and you cringe, but then you're like sitting there with popcorn going.
I know. It's like all the mechanics of it are so like robotic. Like,
you're like, the CGI back then just was non-existent.
I know, but we were watching it as a kid, and you saw the Pegasus and that handsome man and his shaved, oiled chest. And then oh my god. And you know, I think we need more myth about Medusa and like her good side, and like you know, her whole story. Like, she has an incredible story, and there's so many different twists we could take on that. So yeah. And with that, I thought it'd be kind of fun for us to like play a little game called pitch me a god's day job in today's day and age. So like, for example, Hades running estate law, or Hermes doing DoorDash. So kind of based on their archetypes.
Like that, Hermes doing DoorDash. I see little feet going.
You guys could drop it in the comments, and just me and you could just kind of riff on some ideas of what kind of day jobs some of these Greek gods would have. So Poseidon,
he'd be a crab work. He'd be out in the middle of the sea getting crabs.
Oh, crabber! I was gonna say maybe he owns a chain of car washes.
That would be a good one too.
He controls the water, but he's still moody.
Don't kick him off. Your BMW might be in trouble.
What about Apollo?
Apollo, a suntan salon.
Yeah,
because he carries the sun across the sun.
I was gonna say an influencer with wellness products, verified on everything. What about Artemis? Zeus
she would have to own like a gun store or something.
A gun store. I would say she would run a no-kill wildlife rescue and would never.
But she was a huntress, so she went out on the hunt. But
so it wouldn't be a no-kill.
She really liked killing the men, but
right. So a gun store, actually, I think you got that one. Let's see. Aphrodite would run a perfumery. Nice. Apollo, TV weather guy. Zeus would run an insurance agency. Oh, Zeus would so run an insurance agency.
Oh, you terminated your policy? Fine.
Hades would run a chain of funeral homes. Medusa would create statues. Hey, why not? I mean,
she had a whole garden of them.
Oh, you guys, this is great. If I miss one, maybe retype it in here, because this is going pretty fast. You guys are coming up with good ideas. Artemis is running adventure tours.
Safari guide.
Aphrodite could be a great sex fiction novelist. Sorry, Act of Gods was covered.
Wasn't covered.
I'm gonna butcher the name.
Dionysus?
Yeah, Dionysus.
see, he
Isn't he a drinker?
yeah, he was food and wine, and
Food and
he'd
wine?
be a really great chef.
Chef? Or like maybe a wine bar opener, like
Well,
have a wine bar or a winery and throws
yeah, a
big parties.
winery,
Hmm.
have a club in downtown.
Yeah, yeah. He'd be a perfect fit in Vegas. Aphrodite. We already covered a lot of Aphrodite. Eris, Aries.
Narcissus.
The
He would have his own clothes design. He'd be on the in Paris designing the latest fashion.
but isn't I'm thinking I'm butchering the name again. Ares. Eris.
Wait,
It's not Aries, is it? A Ares. Wasn't he like a fighter? Like, here's where I'm failing my.
Aries is actually a used car salesman. He's got a little bit of a pot belly. He's retired mostly.
We did talk about Persephone. Persephone, what did I write in here? A split career. So a florist from April to September, and estate law with her husband October through March.
Well, she could actually be a florist, and then she could just send flowers to the funeral home.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Oh, here's some Norse for you. We have Thor. I chose Storm Chaser with a YouTube channel.
Oh, that would be a good one.
Aries, yes. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Storm Chaser.
Yeah, he likes drinking a lot, so you'd have to have his own bar too, someplace, because his tab would be just astronomical.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we have the Aries here, UFC ring. I put MMA promoter, running some Blackhawk type stuff. That's great. Loki, I got crypto founder, currently unreachable. I'm sure you guys can come up with a million things for Loki.
Loki would be just all sort. He'd be a grifter. He'd just be out doing whatever just caught his fancy at the moment.
Yeah, that's definitely, yeah. And Odin, what do you think of Odin?
Odin in my series, he's actually Kris Kringle, because if you go back to the mythologies, Odin was the original Santa Claus. His horse that has the 8 legs, that's where the 8 reindeer came from, and his coat and all the different things. That's a lot of the mythology around Santa Claus actually came from Norse mythology.
So. Interesting. And then wild cards. Yeah, actually Cupid and Eros is in here. So this one's for you to answer. Who's Cupid?
Eros takes over the family business, so he's a matchmaker.
Nice.
Only if he's in a bad mood, he matches them wrong.
Oh, Nadine put Odin as a bus driver when he's not Santa Claus. That's awesome. That is so good. Yeah, I don't even like my answer now. It sounds too fantasy. Medusa. Okay, Medusa is my favorite. I put her as a portrait photographer. The subjects never blink twice.
That's a good one.
And of course, me being a portrait photographer, I was like, oh yeah, she's gonna be my photographer.
Here, I'll stay like this forever. Yes.
Who else? Am I missing anybody? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more. But if you guys can think of some other ones, that was fun. Loki would run a ranch. Loki is actually Santa because he knows where all the bad girls are. Ooh, he knows where all the bad girls are. All right, Brittany, who's the president of the United States? Because you didn't write the god's name in there. Oh, crime scene photographer, final photos for Medusa.
We can keep them just like this. He would
um,
sell Tupperware.
nice. Oh yeah, what did I write down for her?
Freya would actually have a cat sanctuary.
I put luxury matchmaking service with a terrifying success rate. Anyway, it's 2 o'clock. You guys have been here with us for an hour, and that is we actually ran through all my questions and then some. So I appreciate you guys joining us today. Thank you so much, Megan. This was awesome. You guys go follow Megan. Let's take her under our wing and add her to our discourse group and get her in all of our um, let's get her in the Discord group so she can kind of
Oh yeah.
see, she can have some fun with us. We can have a lot of fun. We have some very unhinged writing prompts that we do in our Discord group. We're absolutely misbehaved all the time. That would be to join the one that has the most writers in it right now. Cody runs it. It's Tales from Saphira. Have you heard of Tales from Saphira yet?
I have not.
Okay. Well, I'll connect you with him. So just I'll send you his Substack so you can subscribe. He does Project Abracadabra every other week. What he does is he reads an expert from, whatever author. He's got several authors who will submit to him, and he's a voice actor. So he narrates part of their story and shares it. It's amazing. And I have a Discord group too, but I'm so busy. I feel bad. I'm hardly ever in it. I think Elf, who's on right now, he's probably running my Discord group at this point because I'm always MIA. But Cody's is really active. So all you have to do is subscribe to Tales from Saphira, and then just ask him for the group to the Discord group, and we would love to have you in. Once you're in, everybody will shout you out. You'll end up going from 30 subscribers to 130 in a month pretty quickly.
That would be wonderful.
yeah and it's great. Everybody in that group will absolutely love what you're writing, and this was great. Thank you so much again for coming on with me, Megan.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you guys for watching and participating. This was a really, really fun show today. So today's Wednesday, right? You guys have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.